Come, gather round, and let the evening breeze carry my voice. Tonight's story isn't about Anansi the spider, the clever trickster we all know. No, this is a tale from the heart of the vibrant Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana, a land where the sun kisses the earth with gold, and history lives in the stories we tell. It's about a young man, Kwesi, with a heart as rich as the soil he worked, who thought he had found a love as simple and true as himself. He did not know that the quiet weaver girl who had captured his heart held a secret. It was a secret so large that it would soon be announced by the thunder of the royal drums. This story reminds me of one of our oldest sayings, Woforo duapa a na yepiawo. The elders say this means it is when you climb a good tree that we give you a push. It is a reminder that when you start something with good and honest intentions, the community and even the ancestors will help you succeed. This is the story of how a young farmer's son named Kwesi learned the true meaning of those ancient words. Hit the subscribe button to enjoy more African folklore tales. In the lands of the great Asante, the king of all the Ashanti people, not far from the bustling heart of Kumasi, lived a young man named Kwesi. He wasn't born into a family of chiefs or wealthy traders. His inheritance was not gold or land. His father was a humble farmer who woke before the sun to tend to his yams and cassava. His mother sold gari, a type of flour made from cassava, at the huge Kejitia market, saving every coin she could just to fund his education at the university. Kwesi's real inheritance was a sharp mind and a kindness that never changed. At the university in Kumasi, he walked among the sons of chiefs. They were dressed in fine, colorful kente cloth, a fabric once reserved for kings, and wore sandals decorated with gold. Kwesi wore simple cotton clothes, patched carefully by his mother's loving hand. But even when his stomach was empty and his pockets were bare, he never felt poor. His real wealth was in the deep respect he showed his elders and the genuine help he always offered his neighbors. He believed what the elders say: the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. And so he made sure his own home, his own heart, was a place of honor. One busy market day, the air in Kumasi was buzzing like 1,000 bees. It smelled of roasting plantain, spicy stews, and the sweet scent of fresh mangoes. Kwesi's eyes fell upon a girl sitting quietly at her loom, tucked away in a less crowded corner. Her fingers moved with a smooth, practiced grace, weaving silk threads into patterns that looked like they held the sunset itself. She wore no shiny beads or gold jewelry, yet her presence was like a pool of calm water in the market's lively flowing river. Her name, he would soon find out, was Ama. Day after day, Kwesi found a reason to walk past her stall. Sometimes, he would use the last few coins he had, money he badly needed for books or food, just to buy a small strip of her beautiful cloth. He was drawn to her quiet strength and the deep, knowing look in her eyes. She seemed to understand the world in a way he was still trying to learn. One afternoon, as the sun began to dip low in the sky, painting everything in shades of orange and purple, Kwesi noticed that Ama hadn't eaten all day. She had been so focused on her weaving. He looked down at the single small yam he had left for his own supper. It wasn't much, but without a second thought, he walked over to her. "Forgive my boldness," he said softly, his voice gentle so as not to startle her. "But the sun has traveled far across the sky, and you haven't rested or eaten. Please, share this with me." Ama finally looked up, her graceful fingers still for the first time that day. She looked at the humble yam, Then, into his honest and caring eyes. A slow, genuine smile spread across her face. A smile that made Kwesi's heart feel full. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice as soft as the rustle of dry leaves in a gentle breeze. From that simple act of kindness, a powerful bond grew between them. They started spending their afternoons together. They would share stories under the shade of a large palm tree, their conversations flowing as easily as the nearby river. Kwesi spoke of his dream to become a teacher, to share knowledge with the children of his village. Ama spoke of her love for weaving, for creating beauty and telling stories with simple threads. He fell in love with her for who he thought she was, a humble, kind-hearted weaver. He knew nothing of the world she really came from, a world of palaces, power, and ancient rules that he couldn't even imagine. He was just happy, believing he had found a love as pure and simple as a calabash of cool water on a hot day. Their connection deepened with every passing week. Kwesi would help Ama pack up her loom and threads as the market emptied in the evenings. In return, she would save the most colorful threads to weave small, intricate bracelets just for him. They became a familiar and welcome sight in the market. Their quiet companionship was like a gentle, happy melody in the village's daily song. Kwesi's heart was so full of love that he began to dream of the future. He planned to ask his parents to approach her family, to follow tradition and ask for her hand in marriage, so they could build a simple, happy life together. But not everyone watched them with kind eyes. Some of the sons of wealthy merchants, the same young men from the university who looked down on Kwesi, would sneer at him. They saw him as nothing more than a poor scholar, with dirt under his fingernails and worn-out clothes. "Look at the farmer's son, playing husband to a simple weaver," one of them mocked loudly one afternoon, making sure Kwesi could hear. Another laughed and added, "Does he think her threads are made of gold?" Kwesi chose to ignore them, turning his back and focusing on Ama's smile. He had no idea how close to the truth the jealous words were. One afternoon, just a few days before the great Adekesi festival, a day of celebration and honoring the ancestors, a powerful sound suddenly cut through the noise of the marketplace. Boom, 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 boom. The sound was unmistakable. It was the Atumpan, the famous talking drums from the Manhaya Palace, the home of the Asante Kingdom. Master drummers used these drums to send messages across great distances. Their rhythms, like a spoken language that every Akan person understands. This was not a rhythm of celebration. It was a serious summons, a command that could not be ignored. A deep hush fell over the entire, sprawling market. Thousands of people stopped talking at once. The drums spoke a name, and though the rhythms were complex, everyone understood. But the name they spoke wasn't Ama. The drums called for Princess Amara. Kwesi saw a flash of panic in Ama's eyes. Before he could even ask what was wrong, a procession of royal guards appeared at the edge of the market. Their spears glinted in the afternoon sun, and the golden amulets on their chests shone brightly. They moved with a discipline and authority that made the crowd part for them, like a ship cutting through water. They were heading directly for the weaver's stall. The lead guard, a tall, imposing man, stopped right in front of them. The entire market seemed to hold its breath. He didn't even look at Kwesi. His eyes were fixed only on Ama. Then, to Kwesi's complete shock, the guard dropped to one knee. "Princess Amara," his voice boomed, full of deep respect. "The Queen Mother summons you. It is time to return to the palace." Kwesi's world tilted on its side. He stared at the girl he knew as Ama, the humble weaver, who was now being called a princess. He watched as her posture changed right before his eyes. The slightly stooped shoulders of a weaver straightened into the proud, upright posture of a royal. A simple cloth, which he had always found beautiful, suddenly looked like a clever disguise. As the guards escorted her away under large silken umbrellas, she glanced back at him. Her face was a mask of deep sorrow and regret. The moment she was gone, the crowd erupted in loud whispers. "The hidden princess!" someone shouted. "She was living among us all this time." Kwesi stood completely frozen, the kola nut he was holding falling from his numb hand and rolling into the dust. The woman he loved, the woman he had shared his last piece of yam with, was the kingdom's princess. A huge, invisible gap had just opened between them, one so wide he feared he would fall into it and be lost forever. He wasn't just a humble student in love with a weaver anymore. He was a poor farmer's son who had dared to love royalty. A bitter saying his father often used echoed in his mind. "The animal that bites you is always one from your own cloth." He had welcomed her into his simple world, never imagining that her world could cause him so much pain. For days, Kwesi was lost in a thick fog of heartache and confusion. He stopped going to the market. He couldn't stand to see Ama's empty stall, which was now a painful reminder of how foolish he felt. He saw himself as a simple village boy who had mistaken a bright, distant star for a common firefly he could hold in his hand. The princess was back in the Manhia palace, a world of dazzling gold, strict rules, and ancient traditions. A world that was a million miles away from here. But inside the palace walls, Princess Amara was no happier. She was dressed in the finest kente cloth and wore heavy gold jewelry that felt cold against her skin, but her heart felt empty and hollow. She refused to eat the rich foods brought to her. Her loom, which had been brought to her chambers, sat in a corner, untouched and silent. Her deep sadness did not escape the notice of her mother, the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother was a wise and powerful woman, the second highest authority in the kingdom, responsible for advising the king and protecting the royal lineage. She had sent her daughter to live among the people not as a punishment, but to learn the true heart of the kingdom, to understand its people, not to have her heart broken. Hearing the whispers from the market about a kind, humble student who had shown her daughter such generosity, she summoned her advisors. After listening to their reports, she made a decision. A week later, a royal messenger arrived at Kwesi's family home. The sight of the messenger in his official cloth caused a stir in the village. Kwesi was being summoned to the palace. His heart hammered against his ribs. Was he going to be punished for his boldness in speaking to a princess? Fearing the worst but determined to face it with dignity, he put on his best patched cloth, held his head high, and walked to the palace. He was not led to a dark dungeon as he had feared, but to a grand, open-air courtyard. The Asante, the king himself, sat on a magnificent stool, with the Queen Mother on her own stool beside him. Princess Amara stood beside them, her eyes red from crying, pleading with him silently. The Asante, a man whose presence felt as powerful as thunder, looked down at Kwesi. "Young man," the king's voice rumbled across the courtyard, "we are told you have shown great affection for our daughter. Such ambition can be seen as a threat, but it can also be rewarded." He gestured to several large chests that had been placed before him. Servants opened them to reveal they were overflowing with gold dust, fine cloths, and scrolls that were deeds to large plots of land. "Take these as a reward for your silence," the king continued. "Forget the girl you knew as Ama. Go back to your village, build a new life, and you will be a wealthy man for the rest of your days." Kwesi looked at the unbelievable wealth, more than his family could ever dream of earning in 10 lifetimes. Then he looked at Amara and saw a fresh tear roll down her cheek. In that instant, his choice was clear. He bowed low before the king and Queen Mother. "Great King, respected Queen Mother, your offer is more generous than I could ever imagine. But my heart does not look for gold. The kindness I saw in your daughter, the beautiful spirit she had as a simple weaver, that is a treasure far greater than anything in these chests." He then dared to look directly at Amara. "I fell in love with Ama, the weaver. If the princess before me still holds Ama's heart, then my love for her remains, no matter what title she holds." A slow, knowing smile touched the Queen Mother's lips. This had been the test. She had seen pride and greed in countless men who sought royal favor, but in this poor farmer's son, she saw honesty and a strong moral character. She leaned over and whispered to the king, who listened carefully and then nodded in agreement. The king stood, his presence commanding the attention of everyone in the courtyard. "You have shown us your heart, Kwesi. You have proven that your character is richer than any chief's treasury. A princess of the Ashanti must marry a man of great worth, and today we have found such a man." And so, listen to the lesson of this tale. Kwesi, the humble student, was welcomed into the royal family. His marriage to Princess Amara was not just a union of two people, but a celebrated event that united the palace with the people. It was a bridge built between the world of royalty and the world of the common man, and the whole kingdom rejoiced. Kwesi didn't become a prince who forgot where he came from. He became a wise advisor to the king, a beloved teacher for the kingdom's children, and a loving husband who always cherished the humble weaver he first met in the bustling market. The story became a living example of the proverb, "It is when you climb a good tree that we give you a push." Kwesi started with a pure heart, and his good intentions were rewarded. So you see, fine kente cloth may cover the body, but it is the cloth of the heart, kindness, honesty, and love that truly keeps a person warm. The drums of fate may beat in unexpected and frightening ways, but a kind and honest spirit will always find its rightful place in the world. If this story has touched your heart, please share it with others. Give this video a like and subscribe for more tales from our land. Until we meet again, may your hearts be true.